Welcome, Weekend Warriors, to the Week 17 Finals predictions. Fastest football season in the history of the NFL. I feel like I was on here last week giving the draft recap / week 1, and now somehow we already have reached the final week of fantasy football. It has been fun. I still got my Christmas tree up here next to me. That week here between Christmas and New Year's, off all week from work, spending some time with the family, doing some fun things. Not sure if I debuted my CJ Stroud jersey on this pod yet. That's how mush my brain is, but I have CJ Stroud in a dynasty league that I plan to have him on my team for the next 15 years. So I said, let's buy a jersey. That is the reason and the significance for what I'm wearing. But last week, let me pull out the phone. Let's see what assess the damage. We talked about the teams that were in the playoffs. Unfortunately, my predictions, I predicted Terry to beat Dean, and that came true. And I predicted Ty to beat Jake, and Jake took me down. And it really, recapping the games, back to Terry and Dean for a second. That game just had a feel for it from the beginning. That Dean was going to lose and just not be able to keep up with Terry. And then going into Sunday night, Terry just needed a few points from McCaffrey and Debo, gave Dean a little glimmer of hope there for a little while, but just wasn't enough. So real quick, let me just pull that game up. 123 to 104. So Terry really didn't have that great of a week, and I kind of alluded to that. If you remember, I said this might be the week to play Terry. But Josh Allen, McCaffrey got enough done. Really, Amon-Ra St. Brown, 12 from 106 and a touchdown. He's been amazing, and Njoku scores a touchdown every week. But for my dad, Lamb was great. Eckler, kind of a little bit of a disappointment. ETN, 12 carries for 6 yards, just not going to get it done. Actually, I think it was, scratch that, reverse it, 6 carries for 12 yards. Either way, very bad. But then Dean, 123 to 104, he lost. He got 1 point from his kicker and 0 points from his defense. That can make the difference right there. So, combination of factors there for Dean, but not enough to overcome the juggernaut of Terry. And then my brother and I, kind of same thing, pretty anticlimactic. My brother, man, it's hot in here, I can lose the hat. My brother had a good start. I had Kamara Thursday night. He's been great, double-digit points every week. Comes out good, 4.5. And then Saturday night, so that was Thursday night. Saturday night, I had Diggs and Bass combined for like 10. So right there, you start out of the gate. Sometimes you can overcome a slow start, but when 3 out of your 10 guys, completely bomb for you, and then DJ Moore got hurt. So listen, my team won 4 high scores of the week this year. It had a lot of firepower, but the last 2 weeks I kind of laid eggs. And you got to get hot at the right time in fantasy, and I did not get hot at the right time. It's not my season. My brother, tip of the cap to him. Just a consistent effort from kind of all his guys. Mostert, 10. Kmet, 15. Evans, probably the best pick in fantasy this year. Another 2 touchdowns from him. Tyreek, 9 for 99. He has those firepower players. So, kind of keeping on the recap, I went 1-1 last week in my NFL picks. I had Rams minus 3.5 on Thursday Night Football. Thursday Night King, of course, gets it right. Diggs, anytime touchdown scores, my other pick. It was a little homer pick, but I really thought he was going to get back on track. They tried to feed him early. He got nicked up. It just spiraled negatively from there. They actually almost lost to the Chargers. So 16-16 on the year. 1-1 with my fantasy picks, 61-16. Will I go 62-16 with this final pick? So, listen, Terry has a chance. I'm going to go out and say this. I hope he's watching. He has a chance now to maybe become the most decorated member of this league as far as awards and trophies goes. I was talking to Odd about this on Christmas Eve. We were together, and I was messing with him. I was like, what have you done for me lately? You got 3 championships, but, what's the last 10 years been like? And he's like, look, man, I'm the Dallas Cowboys. I can't get over the hump. I was great before. Those trophies are collecting dust, but they will never go away. But, Terry, I will say, and I think Otley will agree, he is more consistent. He has 2 championships in his belt. He hasn't won for a while. I don't have the stats behind me, but it's been at least 5-6 years. I'll dig it up for when he wins if he wins the championship, to be able to present that. But he lost to me in the finals 2 years ago. We said he hasn't missed the playoffs in 3 years. This would put him at par, at minimum, the same amount of championships with Otley of all time in this league. And I think you can make the argument based on recency success and just consistency. And I think Otley would agree that he has work to do. Now, if Ott gets a 4th one, that's all bets are off. It's like the Tom Brady rule. If you have the most championships, you're the most decorated, you're the guy. But I just want to give a tip of the cap here to Terry for being here again in the finals. Lost to me 2 years ago. Can he beat Jake in 2023? Now, Jake, been to 1 finals and lost. We talked about that. He's been made the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years, including this year. He's been around the top, hasn't gotten over the hump. In fact, in my championship season that I just talked about where I beat Terry, I beat Jake in the semifinals, and then I was able to beat Terry. Can Jake do that in reverse? Looking at this matchup, I just want to say, you know what? This is a tease. Let's hold on for a second. I want to give you my Thursday night pick. The Thursday night pick, I joked that I'm the king. I've been very good on Thursday night, especially since about mid-season on. This is an under pick, 34.5. Both these teams suck. The Browns have been rolling, though. But this defense, I think, is going to be good enough. The Jets totally suck. I think it's maybe 17-10, maybe 20-13. Still both under 34.5. I'll take the under in this game. My other pick, Pearson, name drop. Probably maybe the last time we talked about him on the show. He's still in the league as of now, but he was gambling this weekend. Shocker, spoiler alert. He had some free money, and I was giving him some of my picks, and I had to go over it with him again. The ugly picks sometimes win. It's like we had the Steelers last week in a game where obviously the Bengals are better. The Steelers come out, punch him in the mouth. The Ravens coming off this huge win against San Fran at home now. Miami coming to town. Miami cannot beat the big team. They always lose these games. Plus 3.5. Should be 6.5, 7.5. Miami plus 3.5 is my pick. I think it's a Miami line. The gambler in me tells me to take the Dolphins. So that's my other pick. All right, so now the matchup. Jake versus Terry. What do I see? I see a consistently good Terry team with good matchups. I mean, listen, Josh Allen, he's the quarterback 1 on the season. Christian McCaffrey is the running back 1 on the season. I read a stat, 57% of the teams in the championships across fantasy leagues have Christian McCaffrey on their team. That's not a surprise. The guy is having a historic season, should be the NFL MVP, is the fantasy football MVP. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the wide receiver 3, has had 1 game all season. He did miss 2 games, but every game he's played, 1 game all season with single-digit fantasy points. At Dallas Saturday night in a game where they'll need to throw in a dome, Amon-Ra is going to have a great game. And then you have guys like Rashee Rice, Deebo Samuel, guys that just put up points consistently. Heck, Terry probably even has the best kicker in the league in Brandon Aubrey. He hasn't missed a field goal all season. So what I see when I look at Terry's team is just consistent points. It's a team with high floors and also high ceilings. I don't think Terry can score less than 120 points. So I see that, and I say one thing to Jake that should give him confidence is when I won the championship against Terry 2 years ago, I won on the back of 2 guys. Cooper Kupp had a huge game, and Tom Brady had a huge game. And I was a heavy underdog. I started Ronald Jones in that matchup. He got 2 points. And Terry on paper was, I remember, projected to win by at least 15, 20 points, just like he is in this game. And you know what? He probably should have won this game. And law of averages, he probably will win this game. But I want to tell Jake, what his chances are the guys on your team right now that have firepower, okay? Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill can come out with no Jalen Waddle at Baltimore in this game I'm talking about. Very tough matchup, and he can have 250 yards a la Amari Cooper last week. If you get one guy like that gets points for 3 players, Lamar Jackson in that same game fighting for the MVP in a potential high-scoring matchup. You know, if you get a Mike Evans, I remember the championship last year, I just talked about Brady. Well, actually, I talked about Brady 2 years ago when I beat Terry. I don't want to muddy the waters. But I remember Evans last year had 3 touchdowns in the championship week. My point is, Jake is going to need one of these guys that is very high-risk plays, lower floor players, a la Tyreek Hill, a la Devontae Adams, a la Lamar Jackson, who's kind of been hit or miss. He needs those guys to explode. He's projected to lose this game by 14 points. So, some question marks, I guess, maybe on both teams. You know, Terry's team, you know, he has an abundance of running backs. Jake, you know, Mostert, Keenan Allen situations, which, you know, a couple guys on his team are questionable. Which ones are going to play, which ones are not. I'm not going to hide it. I would like my brother to win. Terry's won before. I'm rooting for Jake. He's going to Spain. He'll be back. He's going to watch the games probably at 3 o'clock in the morning and see if he won. You got him, Terry in South Carolina, Jake in Spain. It's a little bit of a mismatch there. I'm cat out of the bag. I got to pick Terry. I go with what my mind tells me, and what I see is Terry, again, consistent performer. I think he gets it done this year. I think he's hungry for it. He's been texting me. He's probably sick and tired of me saying that, you know, he's made the playoffs. I beat him in the finals. I think he wants to stake his claim this week and take Jake down. But we'll see what happens. It starts tonight. So at a minimum, it looks like Terry's going to be starting Njoku tonight. Jake knows what he has to do to win. He needs some offensive explosions. We'll see if it happens. The winner will get $725 and the loser will get $300. So a nice haul for either person. This is my last video probably of the season. I might do a little bit of a shout out to the champion when the time comes. It'll be a short one. I love doing these videos. I said it last week. We have a great group of guys. We will be replacing Pearson. Stay tuned in the off season, maybe for an announcement of a replacement there. But this league is going to continue to go strong. In its 18th season, will be 19 seasons next year. So good luck to both of the guys fighting it out here in the finals. A happy new year to everyone. And the commission's out. Go boys. Good luck.